Hi loves. I've been requested to talk on healing, and everybody is capable of healing. We're all different, we're all unique, so there's no one way of healing. A lot of people in the Spiritualist Church say that it all comes from above. It comes through Jesus Christ, it comes from Spirit, it comes into them and they pass it to you. Well, yes, possibly. But there are many other ways of healing. As I say, you are a unique individual and there's no one way which is right for everyone. I mean, there's a man called Rodriguez, I think. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't read books, but I do know of this man who did many operations using a rusty penknife. He was well known for it. Never lost a patient and cured them all. He was sent to jail for practicing medicine without a licence and spent so many years healing prisoners, wardens, screws, their wives, their children through the bars with a rusty penknife. When he was videoed, well, we call it videoing now, it wasn't then, he took one look at himself with a rusty penknife and passed out. He was not aware that he was healing in that manner. That's because he was working with an entity inside of him who was an expert at that. Never lost a patient that way. Edgar Casey was another one. He was a very reluctant healer. He used to go to sleep, and while he was asleep he would write out prescriptions for various cures for things. He hated it because his family were deeply religious fanatics. He hated being what he was, but there was an entity working inside of him. Now, both of these men were great healers, have gone down in history, are well noted, and you can check them out if you wish. Both of them were reluctant. But both of their personalities, the healer within, was working on their behalf. You cannot stop these entities working if they want to work. What you can do is work with them, and that's when the joy begins. But getting back to healing. The very first time I saw any demonstration of any healing was about 55, 56, maybe 57 years ago. And I was at Mainey Bridge in Wales. And I was a funny little kid. It didn't interest me to get dressed up and go out and play on the fairgrounds late at night with all the boys and girls who've got to play. I was more inclined to want to explore and see things, and I saw a notice saying a spiritualist. No, I didn't. It wasn't a spiritualist meeting. It was a psychic and spiritualist meeting. Oh yeah, that's what the Spiritualist Church used to be called a long time ago. The Psychic and Spiritualist Church. True. Check it out. They dropped the word psychic because it wasn't quite respectable. Never mind. Right, but back to this meeting. And I wanted to go to this meeting. I'd been to a spiritualist meeting with my mother before, and quite a few actually, and I enjoyed every single one of them. I looked old for my age. I mean, I was a barmaid at 12 and got away with that, so I trotted along. And they had healers coming in that night, and I was expecting someone to walk in with these beautiful robes on and glamour. No. Two farmers walked in, a male and a female, man and wife. And they did look like very poor Polish people. And I'm not being derogatory towards the Poles. It's just that's what they reminded me of. You know, short cropped grey hair, coat, little short at the sleeves, trousers just a little short, waistcoat just a little too tight. She had very big, thick leggings on and brogue shoes, you know, and a tweed skirt. So I expected this to be very pious and, healing from... It wasn't a bit like that. She stood at one end of the church and he stood at the other end. And she did sort of a dance. Now I understand what that was. At the time I wondered what she'd doing. She was raising energy, just as the Red Indians used to do the war dance to raise the energy, just as people in Tahiti do dancing to raise the energy. She was raising energy. She huffed and she puffed and she dum, all sorts of weird and wonderful things, and I'm going, huh? I resisted the urge to laugh, I will never know. It was funny. It was really hilarious. And then she put her hands down like this and went, whoa. Oh, Jesus. I'm embarrassed. Why was nobody else embarrassed? Everybody was watching intently. They've obviously seen them work before. And she went like this. And she held something in her arms, invisible. And she went, whoa. And then she flung this invisible thing up the room to her husband. I presume he was her husband. If not, he was a brother. And he went, oh, 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 oh. And he caught it. Or it was the other way around. I don't know if the man did it to the female caught it. It doesn't really matter. And then he went over to the person who was sat on a chair and sort of literally went, whoa, and dumped this invisible thing on top of her head. And the woman went, oh, 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 oh. And when she recovered, she got up and went, thank you very much. Whether she was cured or not, I don't know. I was still reeling from what I had just witnessed. One form of healing. When I heal, I don't look at all glamorous. I open my chakras, the Hindu way. Then I heal with my breath, the Chinese way. I pull energy from my groin, like this, and like that. And then I shoot it at the person. And then I move in. Now, we are moving on to psychic surgery here, and I do the job I've got to do. And then to heal it, I lean over. And a lot of people do jump when I'm healing because I make a funny noise. And I'm not ashamed of that. Now, before I show you this funny noise, demonstrate it to you, I'll show you that I'm an old lady. My bones are not supple anymore. And yet when I heal, if you watch my legs and watch my body, it is a very young 20-year-old female whose legs can come right up to her chin, by the knee, straight up to here. I spin on my heels. My legs turn and twist like a dance. I am like a snake in motion. Huh? Yeah. And then I lean over and go, what is pretty about that? There is nothing pretty about that. So are the healers who stand there going, it's all coming from God, and it's all coming down all over you, and there it is, and it's, oh, wait a minute. You're using an outside energy. When God gave you the gift to use your own energy, and you presume that spirit will continue to feed you this energy, yes, you may heal, but you will never cut a tumour out of somebody's brain. You will never make a blind woman see, because you have to use what is inside of you. Trust me, you have to. That's what God gave it to you for, and you are depriving them 7 inner personalities of helping the world. Try it. Please, I beg of you, just try it my way. Because a young girl came to me quite recently. Now, I've been healing for 50 years. And she said to me, she was only about 26, we're going to stop people like you healing. I said, really? How are you going to do that? She said, oh, we will. You will not be able to heal once we get it through Parliament that you have to be a registered healer. I said, really? And how do I become a registered healer? Well, it's quite simple, really. You pay, well, it was at the time £37.50, I don't know how much it is now, to the Spiritualist Church. And you have to name every bone in the body, correct me if I'm wrong, please, someone, and then state the 7 principles of the Spiritualist Church. And lo and behold, you're a registered healer. You can charge for healing, because you're registered. Well, I know a lot of people who go out and buy a title, Lord. It doesn't make him a Lord. It just means he's bought the title. I'm not criticising. There are many, many genuine spiritual healers at the Spiritualist Church. I know. One heals me all the time. She's called March. She heals my back and she heals my chest because I've just had a very, very bad dose of pneumonia. So I'm not criticising them all. I am criticising the arrogance of the youngsters who are coming along, thinking that if they pay their subs and name this and sit for 6 months, they can heal better than a healer that's been doing it for 50 years. I said, you will never stop me healing, my dear. Oh, we will. I said, no, you won't. Do you know why you won't? No, we will. When you're not registered, you won't be allowed to do it. The government will stop you. I said, you can't stop me healing, darling, because I don't charge for healing. I never have done, and I never will do. Never will do, sorry. And people come along to me and ask me for healing. I'll give the healing willingly. If I have the energy, if I have the time. And now and then I do offer to give healing. Much prefer animals these days. They're much more appreciative of it, and I will tell you the story of Merlin the horse at a later date. But my darlings, what I'm trying to get across to you is there is no one way of healing. You find your own way and you do it your way, and do not be restricted by others who tell you there is only one way of doing it. The Chinese heal with qi. The Hindus heal via the swamis. I heal via my chakras, and you must open your chakras to find out if I'm right or not. Now, I couldn't care less if you took a banana skin, split it into 18 pieces, mixed it with some dog muck, and said, this is how I heal, as long as the person you are healing gets healed. I said to this young girl, and it may sound very arrogant of me, you only need love. Love for a person. Love for anything and anyone to be able to heal. And I have that love. I said, and the day you can heal like I can heal, you can tell me how to do it and tell them I do it my way. You must just love people. You must, when you lift a child over a child, no matter what the colour of the skin, no matter the state of the skin, no matter if they are stinking, you won't smell it, you won't see it, you won't even feel it. All you will feel is the love within you. That is if you are doing it with a true soul rather than an ego. Oh yeah. People say I have a big ego. Yes, I do. There's nothing wrong with a true ego. It's only when you have a false ego you have problems. Everybody in this world is capable of healing somebody else. Let me give you an example. To all you who work in old folks' homes, you know, nursing the dying, the elderly, the sick. You notice when you go to work, the old lady goes, oh, I'm glad to see, oh, I always feel better, my love, when you come, and she's touching you. Oh, thank you. Oh, that was a lovely cup of tea. You always make me feel better. She looks fine. Colour comes back into her cheeks. The matron will say, oh, they're always happy to see you, aren't they, love? You leave that nursing home feeling as if you've done a 24-hour shift of hard labour. What you have done is given them a spiritual transfusion. You've cared, you've leaned over, you let them touch you, they're dying, their spiritual energy is fading, and they go, oh, oh, I always feel better, my love, when I see you, you are so kind. And you come out of there thinking, oh my God, I'm so tired, I really haven't done much. So can I give you a little bit of advice? Next time you go in there, be kind, look after them, serve them the tea, be good to them. Don't be cruel. But put yourself in an imaginary spacesuit and zip it up and put the visor down. And when you lean over and say, "Here, my darling, sit up and I'll give you a nice cup of tea," they'll go, "Oh, I am. Oh, I don't know, I don't feel too good today." You can't keep giving them a pint of energy. You are keeping them alive, at your own risk. I know that sounds hard, coming from me. We should have compassion, but there is a point where your energies get depleted and you cannot keep keeping people alive. God wishes to come home. Use that energy for the child who needs that energy so he can then have his life. Again, I'm going to be criticised for what I am saying. You're there to treat them. You're there to nurse them. You're there to feed them and make them comfortable. Every time they touch you, you're giving them like a pint of blood, but it's a pint of spirituality. It's a pint of life force. You do that 8 times a day, you'll feel as if you've given 8 pints of blood. That's why you're so tired, ladies. Those who can walk in and smile and see to them all and walk out, say, "Oh, isn't she lovely?" Yes, she is lovely. She knows. It's her job to look after these people. It is not her job to give them her life force, to give their life force to them, to keep them alive. God gave us a life force. We have only a certain amount. I can only do 2 healings a day. I tried pushing it once and doing 6 or 7 to my detriment. So I save my energy. Later on, I am going to video a horse called Merlin. His owner will be there and she will endorse what I'm going to tell you next. But I need you to see Merlin to explain to you what happened here. And it is a beautiful story and it is a true story, but I have to go up to Priesthill Road, I think it's called, to the stables to show you how Merlin reacts when he sees me. Now, a horse that never reacted to anyone in his life because he is an aristocrat, and even his owner said, "I have never ever seen him do that before." And I've had him 14 years. Good. It shows you that animals understand spirituality more than humans. They also understand energy, and they are grateful when you give them it. But there again, love, if you feel comfortable putting your hands on a person's head, and by the way, they now tell you can't do that. Hello? You mustn't touch a person when you heal. Do you know, I think, and you all have to be insured. Oh, come on. Jesus the Christ healed, darling. The Nazarene walked around healing people. He didn't have a diploma in it, and he didn't get insurance against it. When I heal, my hands go on you. I can't operate on you. I can't do psychic surgery on you without actually touching you. So don't come near me if that's not what you want. And anyway, sue me. I can't do you any harm. I can only do you good. So if you start saying, because I've healed you, I've done you harm, rubbish. Try proving it in a court of law. I'm not insured to heal you. But you asked me to do it. Remember that. And I've never had one walk away any worse than they came in. But I've had a lot walk out a lot better than when they came in, and can produce testimonials on that. But there again, there'll always be the odd one I can't get through to, because their higher immortal is higher than mine, and I accept that. Please use the chakra meditation to prove to you what I'm talking about. There is also another video today which is going to go about why I won't do regression on people unless there is a really good reason. Okay? And how our previous lives can come back to haunt us and affect this one. Please listen to the next video. Thank you for listening.